He made over $200 million before he was even 30. He owned a private jet, a 167-foot yacht, and threw parties that made Wall Street look like a playground for the gods. But behind all that wealth, behind the fame and excess, was a man whose empire was built entirely on lies. And when the truth finally came out, it wasn't just his company that crashed, it was his entire world. This is the real story of Jordan Belfort, the man they called the Wolf of Wall Street, not the Hollywood version, not Leonardo DiCaprio's smirk and champagne, but the real man who scammed millions, manipulated the market, and brought Wall Street to its knees. Stick with me till the end, because what happened to him after the chaos is something even Hollywood didn't dare to show. We're building the biggest trading and finance channel on YouTube. So before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join our growing community of traders, thinkers, and dreamers who refuse to settle for average. Before he was the Wolf, Jordan Belfort was just another kid from Queens, New York. He wasn't born rich. He didn't have family connections on Wall Street. But what he did have was the gift of persuasion. From a young age, Belfort could sell anything. Ice to an Eskimo, as they say. At 16, he was selling Italian ices on the beach and making thousands during summer breaks. By the time he graduated college, he already knew. He wasn't going to live an ordinary life. In his early 20s, he took a job as a stockbroker trainee. He had no idea that decision would change everything. Wall Street in the 1980s was wild. Fast money, no rules, and greed dressed in a suit. Belfort's sharp mind and hunger for wealth made him stand out immediately. But when his first firm went bankrupt, his dream seemed to collapse overnight. That's when the wolf began to emerge. He discovered penny stocks. Cheap, obscure shares no one took seriously. And that's when it clicked. He could use his charisma, his salesmanship to sell these worthless stocks for huge commissions. He opened his own firm, Stratton Oakmont. What started as a small boiler room operation turned into a money printing empire. Phones rang nonstop. Traders screamed into headsets, selling dreams to anyone who'd listen. Every call meant another dollar. Another victim. Within months, Stratton Oakmont became a symbol of unfiltered capitalism. Lavish parties, endless drugs, exotic cars, and at the center of it all, a 20-something Jordan Belfort, now worth tens of millions. Stratton Oakmont wasn't just making money. They were rewriting the rules. They manipulated prices, pumped up stocks, dumped them, and walked away with fortunes. Their strategy was simple: create hype, trap investors, and cash out before the crash. Belfort's voice echoed through the trading floor every morning. Act as if you're already rich, because if you believe it, you'll make it happen. It wasn't just a company anymore. It was a cult of greed. Traders idolized him. Clients trusted him, and the SEC, they couldn't keep up. The more money he made, the more reckless he became. He bought a private jet, a yacht once owned by Coco Chanel, and even smuggled cash overseas. He wasn't just living fast. He was living untouchable. But the higher you rise, the harder you fall. By the mid-1990s, regulators had finally turned their eyes towards Stratton Oakmont. Complaints were piling up. Stories of manipulation, insider trading, and fraud. At first, Belfort brushed it off. He thought he could outsmart the system. He always had. But then, the FBI came knocking. One by one, his partners flipped. The empire that once looked invincible started collapsing from within. Wiretaps, secret recordings, informants. The walls were closing in. Belfort's lavish lifestyle became his own evidence. The yachts, the mansions, the millions hidden in Swiss banks, all traced back to dirty money. In 1999, the wolf was finally caught. He was charged with securities fraud and money laundering. The man who once controlled hundreds of millions was now facing 22 months in federal prison. But here's the twist. Jordan Belfort didn't disappear. After prison, he rebranded himself. He wrote a book, The Wolf of Wall Street, then another, Catching the Wolf of Wall Street. Hollywood came calling, and suddenly the same man who once defrauded thousands was now an inspirational figure for millions. He began giving motivational talks, teaching sales mastery and mindset. Some saw him as a symbol of redemption. Others, as a living reminder that crime can pay if you sell it right. Even today, Belfort walks a fine line between legend and infamy. His past still haunts him. He owes millions in restitution. But his charisma, that same dangerous charm, still sells. So what's the truth about Jordan Belfort? Was he a genius salesman caught in the chaos of greed? Or a manipulator who destroyed lives for profit? Maybe he's both. Because the Wolf of Wall Street isn't just one man's story. It's the story of every trader who ever got lost chasing the dream of endless profit. The story of a market built on confidence, illusion, and timing, where one wrong move can turn kings into criminals. And that's the real danger, not just of Wall Street, but of human ambition itself. He built an empire on persuasion and greed. He lost it to the same forces that built it. And maybe that's why his story will never die, because deep down it reflects something in all of us. That hunger for more, that illusion of invincibility, that moment when success blinds us from the truth. If you find this video interesting, make sure to subscribe, because next time we dive even deeper into the traders who broke the rules and the ones who rewrote them.